Oh, I guess we'll talk to this guy. We didn't even do
Starsap
that.
Tours. Just see me, Bill Starsap, if you want a truly one-of-a-kind touring experience of New Homestead. Lots to learn at the United Colony's premier living history exhibit. If you need a guide, I'm your guy.
Why would someone want a tour of New Homestead?
Why would I want a tour of New Homestead, he says. Well, let me tell you, New Homestead is living history. These people are direct descendants of some of the first settlers to leave Earth. If you've ever wanted to know what that early colonial life was like, this is your chance to embark on a fun-filled exhibition unlike any other.
What do you recommend seeing while I'm here? Anything to avoid?
Definitely check out the Brown Horse Tavern. Good food, great atmosphere. Avoid spending too much time outdoors. It's freezing out there. Any more than that, and well, I'd be giving away the tour for free.
No offense, but Starsap is an unusual name. It sounds almost made up.
None taken. I get it all the time. If you think it sounds made up, well, that's because it is. I come from an eccentric family. Back in the early days of space travel, generations ago, my ancestors were really into science fiction. They wanted a name that seemed like it fit into the stories they grew up with, so they changed their last name, and the Starsap family name was born. Used to be Bramblefoot before that. Their ancestors liked a different type of fiction.
Yeah, alright. Well, I'd like to go on a tour of New Homestead.
Excellent! You won't regret it. My tours are one of a kind. Now, there's just the matter of price. The going rate for a genuine Starsap tour is only 100 credits.
That's pretty cheap. I'd like to, but that's more than I was hoping to spend.
Well, 100 credits is very reasonable, I think.
It is, but I don't care. I'm sure your tour is great, but, you haven't really sold me on it.
I know. I gotta work on my pitch a little. Maybe I could give you a discount just this once to prove my tour is worth it.
I'm sure we could work something out.
Yeah, I hope so. Tell you what, I like you. This one's on the house, but if you enjoy the tour,
free.
I'd really appreciate if you'd tell all your friends about me when it's done. So let's get this show on the road, eh? All right, so this is New Homestead's main concourse. This underground area didn't exist when the original outpost, Titan Astrobase, was finished in 2130. Follow me.
Cool.
We'll come back here by the end of the tour and talk about the museum collection. But first, let's go see where people live. Now remember, these people aren't actors. They actually live here, so try to be respectful of that. While the original inhabitants of the Titan Astrobase lived in pods like you saw up above, they transitioned down here when this section of the base was finished in 2144.
Jesus.
Space is extremely limited, so you'll notice some overflow here, but more residences also exist on lower levels, which are inaccessible to tours. I'll stop at each of our destinations if you want to look around, or if you have any questions for me. Have any questions so far?
How many people live here?
I'm not sure the exact count, but New Homestead is a fairly small colony. What you see is what you get for the most part, except for some other people who live in the private lower levels. Some, particularly security, and yours truly, even commute from other worlds.
Can you tell me more about how people lived before this was all built?
The original Titan Astrobase had more habitation pods on the surface connected to some of the old structures you may have seen in the back. As the colony grew, the base was expanded underground, and those hab units were recycled into materials used down here.
The overflow area looks cramped. What's with that?
Sadly, it's difficult to get additional construction done inside these underground caverns. So for now, additional populations are housed in these stacks of old shipping crates. As you might expect, this is where some of the less wealthy can afford to live. It's not glamorous, but they are functional and cozy.
Well, I think I'm ready for whatever's next.
Alrighty, we'll be taking the residential elevator to the farms area on the surface level. This way, please. Let's leave these good people alone for now and go check out the farms. Follow me up the elevator.
Do you have a spaceship? I want to get a spaceship when I'm older. They're so cool.
New Homestead's farms are the beating heart of the colony. Without them, the original outpost would have shriveled and died. These pods are sealed and climate controlled, the perfect environment for growing the hydroponic vegetation needed for survival in the early days of the colony. Any questions about the farms?
How is this different than anywhere else in the galaxy?
Good question. It's largely the same, because this was the colony that pioneered the techniques you see elsewhere. But you'll notice that the farms here are smaller and staffed by humans, not robots. Things here are a little more old-fashioned compared to some of the large factory farms you'll find elsewhere in the settled systems.
What do they grow here?
These days, it's a mix of what you find elsewhere in the galaxy, but in the olden days, it was all brought over from Earth. It was a lot of hardy root vegetables like potatoes, carrots, beets, and such, supplemented with corn, peas, green beans, soy, etc., which didn't always grow as well.
Are the farms still operational?
Oh, they are indeed. Colonists still cultivate plant-based food for their own consumption here in New Homestead. It's less vital to their survival these days, as they also import supplemental food from other colonies, including meats, dairy, and synthetics. However, most citizens here take pride in a New Homestead-grown, sustainable diet.
I'm ready to move on.
Onward it is! We'll be stopping by the Brown Horse Tavern later in the tour, which uses many of these locally sourced ingredients in their cooking. But for now, it's just a short way to our next stop. Follow me! So, the old biolabs are just on the other side of this building, believe it or not. We'll step on through the hallway there. They're not in use anymore, but the colony has faithfully recreated them as a historical exhibit, true to the original purpose of the Titan Astrobase. Sadly, they're undergoing some
If you
light
need medical
renovation.
attention,
Otherwise,
sit out
there'd be
la coda.
interactive activities for
warning.
kids to learn about how they used to search for microbial life here.
Enjoy your visit here.
Pardon the dust, but I can still answer some questions about the old Titan Astrobase biolabs.
What kind of life did they find in there?
Funny you should ask. Sadly, none. See, NASA funded the Titan Astrobase project because conditions seemed ripe for primordial life to form in Titan's methane pools. They tested many different sites, performed deep core ice drilling, and more, yet nothing turned up.
So, that was it. What did they use these labs for after no life was found?
Well, NASA defunded the xenobiology program in 2132, but a scientist by the name of Catherine Neely proposed research into advanced colony building on inhospitable worlds. So, by 2135, work began on what would ultimately set us all up to create habitats anywhere humans dared to explore. These very labs housed the computer systems used in that research. That and general storage for the colony. Lots of storage.
Right. So, you keep mentioning the Titan Astro Base. What is that?
Oh, I'm sorry. I completely forgot to mention that. That's what this place was originally called. When NASA divested its interest in the Astro Base and turned it over to the people back in 2185, they renamed it New Homestead and established it as a historical site.
Alright, I think we can keep moving.
You got it. On to our next stop. Next, we'll be heading outside, so make sure to check those seals on your suit because it's a bit chilly out there. We're going out into the frozen wastes of Titan to see what powers this planet.
I could
Watch your
really
step
go for
outside, by
some
the way.
Linus
The ice
cooking
can be
over the
slippery if
ground.
you're not careful. The goal is to keep people out of Dr. Lakota's infirmary.
We take vandalism seriously here. Don't mess with history.
Anyway, where were we? Oh, yes. Powering New Homestead. As you might imagine, generating energy was a real challenge back in the day because the technology was much more crude then. But crude or not, it was that technology that sustained the old Astro Base. And it might surprise you to learn that the same technology is still working today. The interesting thing about this old colony is that it's mostly powered by clean, renewable energy. You'll see one of the methods used on the horizon up ahead. That's right, New Homestead's famous wind farms. This spot was chosen for the colony in part because of its constant winds. These turbines have been integral to the colony's function since its establishment as a cheap, mostly reliable source of electricity. So, let's talk about wind power, shall we?
I fucking hate this. I didn't think Titan was all that windy.
You're right. Most surface wind on Titan isn't too terribly strong, but here, the altitude and other conditions are perfect for sustained wind power. Like many worlds with atmosphere, the higher you go, the windier it gets.
What's so interesting about wind power? Why is this part of the tour?
You're looking at a piece of history. Sure, wind power is used throughout the galaxy, but these people were able to make do with it for hundreds of years. It's impressive that was all they had back then, and still make it work to this day.
Do these turbines really power the entire colony?
Mostly. I'm sure you've noticed the occasional brownouts. I guess these old machines have a habit of freezing up, what with all the ice out here. There's some methane on reserve for critical life support systems, but everything else here is otherwise powered by the units you see here.
Well, I think it's time to move on.
You're the boss. Let's go. Moving right along, we're going to learn about Titan's great natural resources. Titan is rich with hydrocarbons like methane and ethane. Surely you saw huge pools of the stuff on your descent into New Homestead.
Nope, I wish I
add
did.
to the natural beauty of this world. Though, of course, stay away from them because, like anything beautiful, they can be dangerous. Just like my last ex-wife's pet. She had this gorgeous, I don't know what you'd call it, creature. The guy that sold it to her couldn't tell her what it was or where it was from. I don't think it was even a legal sell, to be honest. The thing was very easy on the eyes. Feathers, all the colors of the rainbow. Nasty bite, though. Wound up in the hospital and almost lost my hand. Still not enough for her to get rid of the dang thing. Anyway, there's a reason she's my ex-wife. But enough about me. We were talking about methane and other resources, right?
Yeah. No,
Hey, can you believe it? Back in the 20th century on Earth, they used to fight wars over natural resources like this and petroleum. They had this whole moon here basically made of hydrocarbons in their own backyard. They just couldn't get to it. Incredible how far we've come. New Homestead is home to one of the oldest and largest methane processing plants in the settled systems. Every year, UC engineers go through a painstaking, month-long maintenance process. That's how this place has remained operational as long as it has. I'm not going to take you too close to the machinery, liability and all, but I can still answer questions. Questions? Fire away!
How can they shut the plant down for maintenance if people rely on it to live?
Ah, it's not as if they shut down for a month. It's not shut down at all, actually. See, this place is built with redundant systems, so they can shut it down piece by piece and suffer only a reduction in throughput. During that time, the UC gets more of its resources from other places, allowing New Homestead to maintain what it needs.
Why do they need all this methane?
Exports mostly, since this world is so methane-rich and has the infrastructure for it, a lot of the UC's methane comes from Titan. Of course, new homesteaders use it themselves for everything from generating heat to turning it into breathable oxygen via modern science.
Wait, how do they turn methane into oxygen?
Oh, no one's ever asked me that before. Something to do with methane-eating microbes, I believe? I honestly don't know. Sorry.
Okay, cool.
Okie dokie, artichoke. There will be time for more later anyway. So, this next stop is a bit of an interesting one. I only recently made it part of the tour. Fun fact, it's also the only natural landmark on the tour. What we're about to see is a glacial spire we affectionately call Ymir's Horn. This colus used to be named after a character in a popular fantasy novel, but it was changed a couple hundred years ago to avoid any potential litigation. Now, what's a colus, you might say? Colus derives from the Latin word for hill, and scientists only gave names to groups of hills on a planet's surface. So in reality, the term you hear more often is the plural, coles, with an E. You probably don't hear it very often where you're from, because it was usually a term reserved for unexplored planets, back when they didn't have the technology to describe what they were seeing firsthand. Because of that, the term is much more common in the Sol system, but you may still hear it occasionally in reference to uncharted worlds. This planet's full of them, though, and they like to preserve that history here.
Damn. Holy shit, I didn't realize. Holy fuck. We're high up. Holy shit.
So here it is, Ymir's Horn. You're free to take a closer look if you like.
How did this colus form?
I've heard this particular formation was caused by an ancient volcano. Something about steam and wind, then worn down over time. But I'm not 100% sure.
Ymir, huh? Who's that?
According to ancient Norse mythology, Ymir was the first Jotun, a frost giant. In the legend, they were both male and female and gave birth to the progenitors of all giants from their armpits. Ymir even predated the Norse gods, who, as it turns out, killed Ymir to fashion the earth and all of humanity from the corpse. It's a fascinating story, and the horn here is a fitting tribute to it.
Alright, I think I'm done here.
Excellent! On to the next stop, then! So, we're gonna head back inside through the methane processing plant. Try not to touch anything on your way. We want to make sure to respect Dr. Lakota's wishes to be safer around here. Ah, that brings me to another point. You'll notice the people around here have last names related to where their families originated from on Earth, as a way to remember the past. The museum curator, Maurice Leon, has more information about that if you're interested. You can find him inside the main concourse. Loves talking about it. You'll find most of the locals here are very friendly to tourists like yourself. Tourism is a major draw to this colony these days, and I respect that. Most of them are happy to talk at length about what they do here. Their rugged lifestyle is a point of pride for a lot of these folks.
Dude, this shit is putting me to sleep, I'm not gonna lie. Man, you know how Bethesda keeps saying this game isn't boring? I want to know if they played this part. Holy shit. That was the most exciting part of the quest, was slipping through the fucking door before he closed it. Bruh. Where are we now? What is this place?
This area we're walking through is the nerve center of the plant, where technicians keep an eye on the operation. Since methane production is such an important part of the colony's livelihood, it's important that the techs notice any issues and react to them quickly. Anyway, we're headed into the ice mines. It's a natural spring where water bubbles up from deep below, but due to the cold, it keeps freezing as it reaches the surface. What else can I tell you about the ice mines?
You didn't really say much outside of that. You know, I'm feeling kind of thirsty. Can I drink straight from the source?
I wouldn't recommend it. First, it's an active work site. Second, it still needs to be filtered and checked for contaminants. But don't worry, we'll stop somewhere for refreshments before the tour is over.
I hope so. Why not heat this area like the rest of the colony?
Good question. I believe it has something to do with not wanting to contaminate the water with methane and other chemicals. The ice helps prevent impurities in the water. At least this is what I've been told.
Is this where all New Homestead's water comes from?
Not all. Some water is created as a byproduct of methane processing, but that's usually saved in the emergency reserves.
Well, I don't want to know any more about the ice mines. I'm ready to go.
Sounds good. Let's keep going then. We have just one more stop before we're done.
What does your scanner reveal?
It just happens to be my favorite. This colony is home to the longest running establishment still in existence, the Brown Horse Tavern. The Brown Horse started as a simple mess hall for the scientists and workers when the underground was built, but it's been operated by the same family ever since. Now, what's a horse, you might say? They were a large four-legged animal on Earth, often used for transportation or manual labor. Long before space travel was even a dream for the folks of Earth, even before antique machines like automobiles were possible, horses could be found everywhere. You might have seen them in old movies or read about them somewhere. If not, I highly recommend looking into them sometime. They're beautiful animals. The tavern's original owner was infatuated with them, from what I understand, and named the place in their honor.
How about those brownouts
The moniker,
last week?
Brown Horse Tavern, is also a throwback to names of similar Earth restaurants
Remember that time a few
hundreds
years
of
back where
years
everyone
before
had
it was
to hold
established.
each other for warmth?
Oh,
That delicious smell is making me hungry. Can I answer anything about the Brown Horse?
turbine's freezing up again.
Joyce is great at what she
Any
does.
menu
I'm sure she'll
recommendations?
handle
Ooh, that's a tough one. I honestly love everything Anya serves here. I'd be doing her a disservice to recommend one dish over another. You want the real answer? Order one of everything.
So, what can you tell me about the owner?
Anya Seattle is the current owner of the Brown Horse. It's been in the Seattle family for generations. But Anya will be able to tell you more herself. Feel free to ask her. It doesn't feel right coming from me when she's standing right over there.
How could this possibly be the oldest restaurant in the settled systems?
Easy. All the other ones fell to ruin when we abandoned Earth. There were technically older ones on Mars, but those have long since shuttered or been replaced.
Oh. Well, I think I'm good to go here.
Okay then. All right, we're headed to the last stop, right back where we began. Feel free to check out the museum exhibit in the main concourse here. These displays are full of rare Earth trinkets salvaged from before humanity left.
Imagine
and Maurice
all
is
this time
happy
I
to
had
talk about
family
the
out there
collection.
thinking they were all
The
alone.
museum's curator, Maurice, will be happy to talk to you if you want to know more. Well, that's that. I hope you enjoyed Starsap Tours as much as I enjoy giving them.
It was super boring. I feel like you should have been the one paying me. Alright, so real shit. In terms of a tour, I think he did an okay job. Problem is, New Homestead's just so fucking boring. There's not really a whole lot going on here. And I don't like there wasn't anything obvious to me.
Hey, no rush.
Right, like clearly he allows you to take a closer look at everything. I didn't care to because I just wanted to get it over with because I've already looked at most of this shit by myself. So, at the end of the day, this just shouldn't even have been in the game. This is such a big fucking waste of time. And I guarantee you this will probably be the whole episode. It's just me doing this godforsaken fucking tour. Fuck this guy. Fuck this game. Like, genuinely, this is so stupid. Why? Who thought this would be fun? Like, really? When I hear all of the reports, all of the rumors and insider
Sorry,
leaks
I zoned out too.
that I heard about this game, saying, like, yeah, the game was only fun to play a year ago, and when they say a year ago, they mean a year before it launched. I don't even believe that. I don't think this game was ever fun to play. Like, the gameplay is rough. Let's just be real here. The gameplay sucks. As far as Bethesda standards go, this is the worst gameplay I have seen in a Bethesda game, period. It's, like, the shooting isn't much better than it was in Fallout. The actual melee combat sucks. The animations are better, sure, but you're still cycling through 2 fucking animations. And there's no combos, there's no
Need
critical
some more
hits
time
that
to think
fucking
about it?
are worth a damn. There's no locational damage, right? There's no fucking gore. You shoot a person in the head, it doesn't even leave a fucking bullet hole. Right? Like, there's no gore. There's no, like, people don't get jibbed. Nobody fucking explodes, especially in situations where they probably should. Right? The combat's terrible. All of the animal combat... Fighting any animal is retarded because they spit at you. Every fucking animal seems to have the ability to spit at you. They all have to have some sort of mandatory ranged attack, because otherwise the AI would flip the fuck out and run away the second you stand on a rock, like we're playing fucking Skyrim. It's just so embarrassing.
Need some more time
This
to think
whole
about it?
quest, this whole thing is so embarrassing. The quest design is outdated. I thought, go to a star station, talk to a lady, she asks you to get a beverage, 12 loading screens later, you got a beverage. That's it. That's the whole fucking quest. That's the only quest in this handcrafted location, right? Like, that's hilarious. That's a funny joke. That's happened twice. Right? It's not funny anymore. And then now I've got this. Here's the quest. Go on a tour. Nothing happens on the whole fucking tour. It's just a tour. Fuck that. This sucks. This is so fucking dumb.
Sorry, I
What
zoned
a
out too.
waste. What a waste of my fucking time. Holy shit. This whole game is a waste of time. There's nothing going on here. The only thing that really feels fun to wait, like, the only fun part of this game, oddly enough, is building your fucking outpost, and even that sucks. That's somehow worse than it was in Fallout. Both 4 and 76. It's somehow gotten worse. Like, the outpost system is so bare bones compared to those games. You could decorate... Go and look at any... Go play Fallout 76 right now, and go look at anyone's fucking camp. They'll look 10 times better than half the fucking outposts that you can make.
Hey, no rush.
What the fuck happened? What? Where'd all the options go? What, are they saving that for DLC that you gotta buy? Fuck that. That's so dumb. At the very least, all the 76 updates are free. You just gotta earn half that shit, or buy it in the state. I mean, you gotta buy some of that shit too, but a lot of it you can just get yourself. This is like... Everything's so bare bones, everything's so scaled back and unfinished. The worlds are fucking empty. The game is barren and devoid of content that's actually worth playing. Like what? The fucking side quest I just did, right? And I guarantee you, whatever the fuck else I gotta do here on this planet,
Need some
it's gonna
more
be
time
boring
to
as
think
fuck.
about it?
Like, the humans that left Earth 200 years ago, basically a Fallout vault. Once again, another recycled idea. And what? It boils down to fetch a thing, talk to some people, convince them, quest over, problem solved. And it looked like that's the only fucking thing that Paradiso actually has to offer. And if there was any more, it didn't fucking stand out to me, because everyone in this fucking game looks the goddamn same. Everyone's wearing the same fucking clothes, because you've only got outfit and hat. That's it now.
Huh?
So
Sorry,
everyone looks
I
the
zoned
fucking
out
same.
too.
All the NPCs are fucking hideous, so I can't tell the difference between a real person and a fucking fake one. And it's like... There's so much wrong. There's so much fucking wrong. And I'm so sick of fucking just sitting here and dealing with it. Dude, this game fucking sucks. I'm sorry. This game is not good. Right? Save yourself the money, don't buy it. If you got Game Pass, just stick around with the shipbuilding. That's the only good part of the game. Play it on fucking easy. Don't even bother with the harder difficulties, because it's not like getting a fucking god roll is gonna happen for you. Right? And even if it does, it doesn't fucking matter. Because there's, you know, you just New Game Plus.
No rush.
Go fuck yourself. You gotta go play New Game Plus, because there's actually more content in the game, in the New Game Plus thing. There's more shit to experience. Which is annoying, because you gotta lose all of your stuff in order to do that shit again and again and again. Fuck that. That's so boring. I mean, I guess it turns it into a completely different game, but it's like, fuck, dude. It's basically saying, ignore all of the other parts of the game and just start speedrunning. Oh, you want to get, like, cool weapons? Ignore that part. You just gotta keep doing New Game Plus and losing all of your shit over and over again. Oh, you want to build a base?
Huh?
Fuck that, you don't need
Sorry,
any of that.
I zoned out
Because New
too.
Game Plus wipes all of that. It doesn't matter. Oh, you want to build cool ships? Ignore all of that. It doesn't matter, because New Game Plus, it's all gonna get wiped anyway. So all that time you spend meticulously building your fucking ships, it doesn't matter. What you really should be doing is min-maxing the shit out of your build and making a ship that has a giant hole in the middle so that it never gets shot. That's it. That's the game. The game is just cheesing it as much as possible and trying your hardest not to engage with most of the bullshit that's in the game. And it's like, fuck me, dude, that's so bad. It just sucks. The game sucks. It's balanced poorly, the combat's terrible,
Need some
the
more
ship
time to
combat
think
is
about
like, theoretically it's okay, but it's just aimbots. Like, the enemy ships just fucking hit you and obliterate you and kill you. And the bindings are terrible. And the power fucking... You gotta manage your power and shit, that's terrible. Because you can't react quick enough to what's going on the screen for you to actually switch power to certain things that you need to switch to. Unless there was some sort of slow time function, which of fucking course there isn't. So it feels terrible. All of the good abilities and perks and mechanics are actually locked behind, you know, far in the fucking perk trees. But even then, that's like 1 or 2 fucking mechanics. That's not
Hey,
even
no rush.
good. And they feel like shit. And it's like, man, there's just not a whole lot of good things to say about this game. This quest right here is like the worst fucking thing I've played. I thought fetch a beverage was the worst. But like that's just most of the game is fucking fetch a bev. Fetch this, fetch that. Talk to this guy. Okay, and then nothing happens. And then when combat finally does happen, it's just bullet sponge bullshit. It's not fun. It's not intuitive. It's just fucking lame.
Hey, no rush.
All the weapons are arbitrarily leveled, which is also just fucking annoying. No, there shouldn't be fucking levels to the guns. Just give me the fucking guns. Give me the gun. If it does high damage, it does high damage. If you give me a fucking space revolver, it should kill someone in like 2 or 3 hits. Just make ammo more scarce, so that we don't have to worry about the stupid fucking gun shit. Or at the very least, give me the ability to upgrade my guns. Like, genuinely. Like Skyrim fucking grindstone that shit. Make my gun legendary, so that it just is able to compete. Instead of, you find a gun with a god roll on it, but it's just calibrated. So it's permanently stuck doing like 35 damage instead of like 107 or whatever the fuck it's actually supposed to be doing.
Sorry,
Fucking
I zoned
stupid.
out too.
It's like they managed to make the game as unfun as possible. When previous entries have done what this game does better. And somehow they fucked it up. Right? Like, it's bad enough. Like, the barren world problem is a problem, yes. The proc gen problem is a problem, yes. But all of these other problems didn't used to exist. What the fuck happened? How did they fuck this up? Jesus fucking Christ. I don't even know what to say outside of
Need
what
some
I
more
just
time
said.
to think about it?
But this is embarrassing, and the fact that they feel the need to go on fucking Steam reviews and argue their goddamn case is even more embarrassing. It's just pathetic. It's pathetic. Whatever hopes I had for Elder Scrolls 6 are dead and gone, right? The only hope I can have is the fact that at least it's not Starfield. Right? Looking on the bright side, at least Elder Scrolls 6 will be one location instead of 1,000 planets. 16 times the detail. You know, we don't have to worry about any of that bullshit. It's just gonna be wherever the
Need some
fuck
more
it's gonna
time
be,
to think about it?
Hammerfell or whatever. But like, man, I just know that it's gonna be more of this in terms of gameplay. Like, Bethesda has clearly not improved their melee systems whatsoever. Melee's non-existent in this game. If anything, it's worse. I hope they don't learn from this, you know, in the bad ways. I hope they... Frankly, I hope they stick with the Skyrim system of, like, smithing and shit. I think that's all well and fine. I think we do need to bring back repairing things. I think repairing your weapons is actually a pretty fucking handy thing. Sure, people would say, oh, it's blah, 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 it's just hampering gameplay. And this isn't?
Hey, no rush.
And this isn't. Right, the non-existent ammo pools, you know what I mean, where you just have infinite bullets. You either have infinite bullets or you have no bullets, and there is no in-between. You know what I mean? And there's no way to make bullets in this game, oddly enough, despite Fallout 76 having a method to make bullets and grenades that doesn't seem to exist in this game. I don't fucking know why. It should. We should be able to make ammunition. We've got fabricators. Why the fuck can't we make ammunition? The fuck's up with that? Like, what? I'm just finding it harder and harder to feel hopeful about these games.
Sorry, I zoned
because
out too.
they just keep disappointing. It's just over and over again. Like, this one, this is the worst, though. I knew it was gonna be bad, right? I called this shit from a mile away. I said, looking at the Starfield Direct, I was like, they are fucking scared. They are too scared to show us anything that is actual gameplay. They're fucking horrified. Reading all the not the reviews, but all the interviews, seeing all of Todd Howard's interviews, seeing how he reacts to certain questions, seeing how he genuinely believes that 76 is like a blemish upon his reputation. Sorry, man.
Huh?
76 is
Sorry,
no
I
longer
zoned out too.
the biggest blemish. Starfield is. His quote-unquote magnum opus, or whatever the fuck. His space game that he really wanted to make. Let's all be real here. He didn't want to make this. They only made this game. They, like, really. They only made this game because Microsoft was trying to buy them. And they needed something to make them look good. And, yeah. That's... This game fucking sucks. I don't know what else to say. I'm fucking tired. I'm fucking tired of playing it now. The honeymoon phase is over, everybody. Get used to the rest of the playthrough being cynical bullshit, or at least for this episode. Fucking hell. I loved it. Here's so fucking something extra for you. Maybe throw yourself off a cliff.
Wow, I really appreciate it. You know, I rely on tips from good people like you, so thank you from the bottom of my heart. Enjoy the rest of your stay in New Homestead.
Perhaps in
Fuck
the future we could skip the extra steps and just set your cred stick on fire directly?
Take care!